So, friends, this is part 7. So, this is part 7 of my lecture on the accounts. And of course, this does not really directly pertain to the accounts, but it is about the work to be completed during the month of March, the financial year end in any government organization, whether it is a government department, autonomous body, or PSUs. So, the first thing that you will have to complete before 31st March is the bank before finalization of the accounts, the bank reconciliation and pausing of the rectification entries. Even if you have not done it during previous months, you will have to, in one go, you will have to complete it for the period up to March 31st and pass the rectification entries accordingly. So, finalization of all income tax remittances and reconciliation with reference to the books of accounts. So, any tax payment is due, you have already recovered, not paid, and it pertains to the period before 31st March, you will have to remit it. So, all remittances, not only the income tax, it may be Provident Fund, it may be GST, it may be any payment requiring settlement with the other accounting heads, and settlement of all advance claims given to the pertaining to the individuals. It may be TA, LTC, temporary advances, interest amounts, etc. And the reconciliation of the rental advances where the organization is allowing the rental the houses on rent to the individuals, and the organization is paying the rental advances, you will have to reconcile the correctness of it. So if something is due, you will have to take it back, and if you have to pay something, you will have to pay and settle the account. And the payment of all supplier bills received up to 31st March in the contracts or commercial department, the services also in the services department, the finance departments, etc., all put together, you will have to collect, you will have to review, and you will have to pay it before 31st date. So even if you extend that by another 1 week or whatever it is, all checks dated 31st March will have to be issued, and you will have to bring that into accounts before for the period ending 31st March. And finalization of the PF accounts, CPF accounts, the interest account statements, and the CPF management contribution also will have to be, credited to the individual accounts, reconcile, and take the accounting statements. And follow up action with regard to all bills receivables, wherever we have to receive the payments also before 31st March, will have to be pursued, and you will have to take back, collect back. And of course, this action you will have to, take this action at least 1 month in advance. You cannot just open your eyes on 31st March and ask for the bills receivables. Then the scrutiny and passing of all work center bills. If you have got different work centers, if you have given the work to different work centers, allocated the work, then you will have to scrutinize and pass all the work center bills if they are due, addressing the letters to the liaison officers, if you have got different liaison officers in different places, for crediting the cash balance on hand with the bank accounts, and send the confirmation of balances on 31st March telling that they have zero balance on hand, and addressing the letters to the liaison officers for crediting the cash balance on hand with the bank accounts, and send the confirmation of balances. So this is what I said now. And settlement of all impressed bills of the liaison officers, and passing of the necessary transfer entries in our books of accounts. So after the accounts are received, again you will have to give credit to the impressed account, and you will have to debit it to the respective expenditure heads. Review all outstanding bank guarantees. This is more important. Whatever you have collected, for the advances you have given, or it may be for the security. So it may be against the performance bank guarantees, warranty guarantees. So you have to review and see whether the account is correct, and whether payments where they have to be reviewed. For example, and if they are reviewed and if they have to be renewed, you will have to see that they are renewed, the validities are renewed. And obtaining of the FE cash outgo reports from different work centers if you have, consolidate them. And similarly, reporting to your ministry, their respective ministry, for denoting the unutilized balances so that government will have an idea of how much actually has been utilized and how much of FE is, unutilized and available with the government. And the investment of the surplus funds in the short-term deposits, if you are permitted, especially in an autonomous body, where you are permitted to invest instead of keeping it idle for certain reasons. If you are not able to spend, you can for short term, maybe for a month or 45 days, you can invest it if your policy permits it, so that you will earn some interest. And settlement of all outward remittances due for the month of March. All remittances, it may be water and electricity, CPF, it may be income tax and whatnot. So whatever you have recovered for the month will have to be, settled. Review of advances outstanding with the suppliers. If they have collected advances not supplied you the items or the services, then you will have to accordingly show it in the balance sheet. Similarly, the review of payments with reference to the revised estimates. For the financial year, means the budget review. So you would have revised your estimates maybe just 2 months before the year end or 1 month before the year end. So where exactly do you stand with reference to the revised estimates when you compare it with your expenditure? That will have to be reviewed, and you should have a correct figure on hand and writing to the work centers for getting the accounts. So if you are managing the work through different work centers by funding them, you have to also ask them to immediately send the accounts, and those accounts will have to be incorporated in the overall accounts of the organization. So these are some of the very important points. There are many more, but these are the important points that you will have to complete, the work to be complete, the activities to be completed during the month of March. So this is the end of it. So thank you very much.